understand because I've been with the same bank for probably 50 years. God expects us to be able to figure it out.
Okay.
And He realizes He didn't make all geniuses in the sense that man thinks we're supposed to be. Since I've been down here, we've been to some very poor, humble neighborhoods, preaching in the churches. And it came to me that these people that have the least amount of education seem to have the biggest grasp of what God is trying to tell people.
Okay.
And I think the devil uses our intellect to confuse us.
Well, can I ask, do you think if those same people, if they grew up in a similar society except there was another religion, I believe that they would have the same passion for that other God as they do for this one?
Oh, no doubt that being brought up in a religion influences you. I was influenced for 35 years. Well, what made me come out of it? It's that inner conscience that works on you. I'm sure there's a lot of Muslims that are confused also about their religion when they see what's going on, because basically they're supposed to be a very peaceable race. But we have to admit that there's a lot of bad stuff going on with the Muslims.
Yeah, well, there's been a lot of bad stuff that happened with Christians as well. But the Muslims will say those aren't real Muslims, just like you'll say, well, Hitler wasn't real Christian. They weren't real Christians. The Muslims are saying the same thing about the Muslims, so that's not really a legitimate argument.
Well, but they weren't following the beliefs of Christianity. The devil works 24/7 on you.
Okay.
God really doesn't make a big effort to convince you because He wants you to come willingly. He'll bring people into your path. Maybe we're that people today. Or just little things. He'll throw them your way, but you still have to make the choice. It's up to you.
Okay, well, I understand.
That little dog. That master of that dog has to be wanting to take him for that walk. You have to want that walk with Christ.
Okay, and what if there are a bunch of dogs and they don't have a master, and some of them are saying we do have a master, and some of them are saying no, we don't, and they're saying yeah, you just have to believe in him, you just have to accept him.
Well, the dog is an example, but he doesn't have a soul.
Okay, yeah.
But there's a lot of people who fit the same category, though. There's a lot of people who act like dogs, who are just doing everything against what God is for. But they know a lot of those people don't come to God until they hit bottom. For some reason, when people hit bottom, they kind of divorce themselves from this world, and they're just in their own mind. They come out of their drugs for a while, they come out of their alcohol for a while, sitting there, and a little spark goes in there. And is that a big enough spark to kindle the fire, or isn't it?
Yeah, well, I completely understand that. Like, they have the 10-step program, for alcoholics. Right, well, the 10-step program is accepting a higher power. They don't tell you to accept Jesus Christ or God. They tell you to accept any higher power. And it works for anyone, no matter which higher power they choose. So it's almost like a comforting belief that helps you get through things. It doesn't prove that it exists or that it's real.
To me, that proves just how crafty the devil is. He knows this guy wants to change. He knows he's got him as long as he's a druggie or an alcoholic. I'm gonna let him believe in another God, and he knows that God requires us to obey a specific God, the only God. So he's gonna let him obey this other God to get out of this situation. He's still gonna have him, but the guy thinks he's getting what he wants. Right. He's not getting what he wants yet.
Okay, so it sounds like you believe that everyone who's not a devout follower of God is an alcoholic or a homosexual or...
No, what I'm saying is, if you're not a devout follower of God, you're a devout follower of the devil. There's only two forces in this world. And the devil is a force. And there's God, and God is letting. He thinks he's an ultimate power, but God is letting him be a power until he's through using him.
Okay.
Once he's through using him, he's going to cast him into the lake of fire.
So if I said my ethical guideline is Aristotelian ethics and not biblical ethics, am I led by the devil?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, did you know that Aristotelian virtue ethics is the same thing that Jesus Christ preached? The same kind of ethics?
Well, I said that without even knowing what you were talking about, but it sounded like it was a different guy.
Well, Aristotle came a few hundred years before Jesus Christ and taught virtue ethics. And then Jesus Christ came and taught virtue ethics with the same message, except that the highest virtue is devotion to God. That's the only difference.
You can't put Aristotle as a god.
I'm not putting him as a god. I don't even know if he existed, but I think that whoever wrote that philosophy down had a very good philosophy. And it came before, it's the same philosophy as Jesus Christ, but it came hundreds of years before him.
Well, I can't even talk upon that, sir. I don't have that knowledge.
All right.
No, I'm just coming here to listen because it's either yelling over here or quiet talk over here.
Yeah, we're just talking about faith, how you can establish.
But really, what I want to know is like, why all of this? Because you come out here and like not saying you don't have your rights of free speech, but this whole display, where it's like they're coming and screaming and yelling, and it's not really. I'm sure you already know the reaction you will get.
The way I defend it is...
Well, no, you don't have to defend it. It's just it's inquiry. I'm just wondering.
But the way I would explain that to you then is that if you are a true Christian, if you're walking with the same character as Christ did on this earth, it's not going to offend you. Matter of fact, you should be happy that some of these people that are as far from the truth as east is from the west is given some truth. If you listen closely to what any one of these people tell you, if you're biblical at all, they're not telling anything that isn't in the Bible. Because we're very biblically oriented. And that's why we're not connected with any religious organization.
But what I'm saying is, I am not offended, but it's not, my question doesn't really have anything to do with religion. It really has like the way you're going about this is you're coming and you're just screaming at people, and you obviously could think of like how the reaction is going to go.
Well, let me explain it this way. This is my fourth time I came on the tour with the fellow who organized it. The very first
fellow who organized it.
Michael, the black fellow there. And the very first time I came on, all I did, I had a sign similar to this. And it was a banner that I held. And he positioned me in a place, I didn't know anything, so he positioned me in a place by the crowd so they could see it. So I would try to get people, he positioned me there. But I was a little self-conscious. I didn't like all the screaming. So I walked away